guys, this is Kaizen and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be talking about stripping. I heard it. I heard it. Let's go again. Today we're gonna talk about how to strip. Today we're gonna talk about miniature stripping. That felt worse. Yeah. Today we're gonna talk about stripping in. This is what happens if this channel goes unscripted, and then Removing paints from your miniatures is a very tedious task, and I won't lie, I really hate that. But sometimes if we buy miniatures in the second-hand market or we make the big oopsie, that is the only path forward. So today, I'm going to teach you guys how to remove paints from your miniature and the reason why maybe you're failing in removing them. So there's two things that you need. Obviously, you're going to be needing a paint stripper solvents. I'll be using a lot of brands here. And then a toothbrush. This is the #1 key of making this happen. Acrylics is a layer medium, so it goes in top of the plastic that we have to remove, right? So, in the same logic, if we stain our clothes, we use soap, right? It doesn't fully remove the dirt unless we spin it around in a cycle or scrub it off, or the power of kuskus and hampas, right? It's the same logic in plastic. You need friction, because what the paint stripper does is lube out the paint from the surface. And sometimes it melts it, which is great, but not all paint strippers does that. If you use a really strong stripper, sometimes it melts it. So please avoid paint strippers that says acetone. Avoid it at all costs, because ABS plastic, which is majority of minis are made, it's gonna melt. It's gonna burn it through the hole, which is, I guess, it did the job of stripping away the paint. Another thing that maybe you're making a mistake, majority of toothbrushes nowadays are really soft. Because I noticed that my toothbrush is so soft, it's basically not making enough like grit on the miniature because it's too soft. It's like cotton nowadays. So always buy a very stiff brush or buy a really cheap brush. There are a ton. Sometimes hardware stores have like brushes for cleaning stuff. Those are a good brush to paint, to remove paint for. And what I did, if you have like a soft brush like mine, I put on a heat gun or a lighter would work. Heat it up, melt the bristles a little bit because they will compress and they're now very stiff. And now this is a toothbrush that I use for scrubbing off paint. For this first demonstration, I'll be using PBG. They gave this to me at PSMS and I am gonna try it now. We got two miniatures here. One, of course, is an official Warhammer mini and one is a resin mini. So we're gonna both dunk them in this vat that I realize is too small, so let me figure this out first. Okay, now I have successfully put two miniatures in this container. Give it a shake and leave it for 15 to 30 minutes. After like 20 minutes of this inside this vat here, I will now try to remove the paint. As you can see, the water like turned a little bit greenish, and yeah, there's like floating paints all over it in particles. Now I grab our handy dandy paintbrush and scrub. After scrubbing, here I am pulling out the tissue to wipe away the remaining debris and the other pulled stripper outside the miniature. And look at that. It looks new. Looks like a new resin miniature. And I did a little bit more pass because of some edges that it did reach. But PBG did a great job of removing the paint. Like, they really, really did a great job. This only took 20 minutes in this bat, and then just start scrubbing. And now we're gonna try to strip away the Space Marine Mini, which is, by the way, I forgot to mention, this guy is actually primed with lacquers. I use Bosny in this, but the paints are water-based, and no, actually there's no top coat in this one. By the way, I switched to a airbrush brush cleaner because they're with a Space Marine and they're really small. There's so many small crevices, so I pulled out another stiffer brush just to help me clean those underneath crevices. And here is our fully cleaned Space Marine. And it's impressive. PBG really, really did a great job with this one. And it looks like it's brand new. For this demonstration, this mini is all lacquer. The primer is a lacquer. The paint is lacquer. And there's this top coat lacquer with an applied pigment that chroma flare shifts. And then this is a mini that's been based with a black primer and painted in water based, but no top coat. I'll be using the ARCUS stripper this time, and let's see how it goes. We're gonna dunk this all again, same 20 minutes or so. Scrubbing off the paint from this one is also easy. ARCUS is doing a great job with this miniature here. And yeah, it was pretty easy. The problem that I had, because of the lacquer primer, it stained a little bit on his chest. Like, the resin absorbed it and became one with it. And yeah, it really also, the strip paint went to my hands and it was very, very dirty. Now we're gonna try the Stormcast one, which is lacquer for all. And I won't lie, it was difficult to remove. I think because the top coat that I used here is pretty strong and I can't really rub it off. And I think the chroma flare pigment that's on top of it is also making it extra difficult to remove. So I tried scrubbing it for almost 5 minutes and it's still not coming off. So I decided with a different method, which is putting it back to a PBG solution because the ARCUS stripper is not doing well to take it off. So I dunk it there again. Or let's go try again scrubbing it off, because I won't lie, I'm kind of seeing how hard this is. 10 minutes of trying to scrub this off and it's still not coming out. It's hard with, I guess, the lacquer primer, which is a Mr. DIY white primer. It's kind of strong, maybe, or maybe because the lacquer paint, the white lacquer paint is a UV lacquer paint, which is actually a hard paint. Maybe it's the reason why it's so hard to remove, and there is a top coat, so this is probably the hardest mini to paint strip. I decided to put this back into the cleaning solution again and let it stay there for like 24 hours, and let's see if there's a difference. By the way, I'm also adding the Space Marine to our Stormcast and I'm gonna be in the vat for 24 hours. This is, by the way, primed with the same primers, but without the top coat and the insane UV lacquer. So this is 90% isopropyl alcohol. And we're not gonna dip any mini. We're just straight on slapping it on our toothbrush and start scrubbing it off from this miniature. By the way, this miniature is primed with a Bosnia flat black and then water-based paints on top of it. As you can see here, it's already doing a great job. And then I realized it's kind of harsh on the skin, and I kind of forgot to wear the gloves, which is, by the way, guys, if you're gonna do this, please wear gloves. I mean, the PBG in ARCUS weren't that harsh, but a 99% alcohol is. So please, please, please wear safety gears, guys. This is what it looks like. I tried to scrub off the remaining stains, but the lacquer already really went into the resin itself. I tried, but it looks really smooth enough. If you compare it to the first one we stripped with using the PBG, that one looks more seamless. So after 24 hours, let's finally try stripping the paint of our minis. If you're wondering what's the UV lacquer, it's this one. This is by Armor Komodo. And yeah, if you're just wondering what it looks like, it's this one. And I think this is now finally, after 24 hours of sitting on it, I think this is the main reason why it's so hard to scrub off. Well, I tried and it's really hard to remove. And because the stripper already did an amazing job of scrubbing away majority of the paint, making some surfaces even enough, and it's smooth anyway. So I decided to just go straight priming it and surrender, because there are moments that you really can't remove the stain no matter how hard you try, and the only way to do is patch it up with a new flick of paint. We'll be using Hydro Paints' water-based primer for this one, and I will apply this like a maniac without actually dipping my brush into water, just straight on primer, and that's it. Doing this like in 2 different strokes so we can see if the thing will auto levels itself. Okay, so look at that, right? It looks smooth to me. So let's try to zoom in even further. Yeah, it looks even. The stripper did a great job of majority leveling up. I mean, breaking down the paint enough to level it around. So there's not much clumps on this mini. Yeah. But if you observe the Space Marine one, let me just zoom in a little further. If you can see his leg there, there's a clump. This one, there is. Okay. The only way to mitigate that is to actually sand it down. So you can either use sanding sponges like this, or some glass files like this one by Hobby Alley. It sands them down, but more or less, I already like this already. I could paint them. I'm already happy. Damn, Mr. DIY primer is pretty strong. I hope you learned quite a lot today. It's always been a #1 discussion in the painting groups that I'm in. But yes, get a good stiff brush. And if you have a soft one, just burn it. And yeah, that's all the tips I could give. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I'm doing a lot of setups again. I'm slowly building my studio. It's been a while, and I'm slowly getting there. Thank you guys for supporting, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.